Hey guys, what's up? It's Zach and I'm back today with another video, and of course, we are doing another list. And in today's list, we are covering the 5 things you should check over before buying a used motorcycle. Now these aren't in any real order of importance, but definitely important, so watch the end to find out. And if you think there's something I missed or you don't agree with, then let me know in the comments below. But anyways, let's get into it.
Number 1, overall appearance. And now this is going to be one of the less important ones. However, it can show you that there is issues with the bike that you may have not seen in some of the photos. So every time I go to buy a used bike, the first thing I always do is I'll take a look at the bike overall. I won't get up close to it yet. I just want to see, hey, is this thing look like it's been sitting under a tree for the past couple years? Is there maybe, looks like there's rats could be living in it. There's a bunch of wires stripped out outside of the fairings. Is the seat duct tape to hold the foam into it, or what's going on overall with the bike? And you can take note of this point of, hey, this fairing's missing, this piece is missing. You could not have back brakes on it. You could only have one front brake if they're going to do drag racing and stuff like that. And you definitely want to make sure that if you're looking for a drag bike, by all means, go buy a drag bike. However, if you're trying to go buy something you can go ride every single day on the road, you might not want a drag bike / a race bike. You might want something with, all around brakes, nothing messed up, everything's like it's supposed to be from the factory. Now, if you want a drag bike, by all means, that's a whole different story. Number 2 is going to be damages overall. Now, this is going to be one of your more important ones in regarding to the overall cost it's going to take if you want the bike to look pristine like it would from the showroom floor. This means that the fairings that you now have looked at overall, you now want to get down and you want to make sure, hey, this piece, that piece, and other piece, it could be cracked. It could have a lot of scuffing on it. Heavily scuffed bearings could be indicative that, hey, this bike's been down before. Check the bar ends for any scraping, because that could also mean that the bike has went down. And if the frame is damaged, this is going to be the most important part of this, is that if the frame has any damage to it, you cannot get the bike, because if something happens, you can get yourself hurt and insurance won't cover it because there is prior frame damage. And that is why there's different titles to bikes. Now, when going over overall damage, you're going to want to go over these things. You're going to want to go over the fairings, the wheels, and any other damages you'll see to bar ends, your foot pegs, rear foot pegs, the exhaust, and the arm. Now, whenever you go over the wheels, you're going to want to make sure that there is no cracking, there is no bends to the wheel, because this can make your motorcycle not run correctly, aka it'll start pushing you left and right all over the road. Just like the bar ends, if the exhaust is scraped, the rear arm is scraped, the handlebars and other such things, then most likely the bike has been laid over or is in a low side accident. And this is not always a death sentence for the bike. However, you want to make sure that the title is still clean and that there is nothing visually wrong with the frame. Number 3, and I like to call this one a chain, sprocket, brake, and forks. And yes, you're going to want to look at these very closely when purchasing a used motorcycle. And the reason being, the chain is what drives a bike. So if you have a messed up chain, you're going to have to go out, get another chain, or you're going to have to wind up getting new sprockets for it to match the chain. You want to make sure that the chain on there has no rust. You're going to want to note if it's a clip-on or a press-on master link. And the reason being, one is stronger for different purposes. Personally speaking, I only use press-on links because I don't want to lose a clip. However, it is not the end of the world if you do have a clip-on. Next up is brakes. And yes, you need brakes. If you don't have brakes, you won't be able to stop the bike, and then you have a whole different world of problems. So yes, make sure there is no leaks in your brake lines. If there is leaks in the brake lines, then try to stay away from that brake. If it is just the rear, that is okay, as long as it's not squirting out onto your rear tire. However, if you are lacking front brakes, I wouldn't even attempt to drive said motorcycle home or to wherever you're trying to go. Lastly is forks. And yes, forks is something a lot of people have that leaks. However, having leaky forks can be indicative of a couple different things. One could be from excessive wheeling. Whenever the bike comes up and slams back down on the front, it'll cause it to slowly deteriorate the seal over time from constant slamming down. And yes, this can damage your seals and all of your fork fluid can go everywhere, and it's just overall not a very good time. Another reason for leaky fork seals or bad fork seals is the proper care to said motorcycle isn't being taken care of. All they're doing is just letting the bike sit there and not actually putting the maintenance needed for these machines into it. Number 4, internal maintenance. And yes, this one is also important. A lot of these are actually important, but however, you don't want to go and get a bike that has rod knock. And yes, a lot of people get it thinking it's something else, and it can be a very big problem that you'll need another engine or an engine rebuild for. You will want to make sure that you get the bike up to temp. Make sure that there is oil in the bike and an adequate amount of oil in the bike. You want to make sure that you can't hear the timing chain more than you should. Hearing it some is normal. However, if you start hearing a slapping noise inside towards the right side of your engine or wherever the timing chain is for your bike, you want to make sure that it's not slapping around in there, or it might need adjusted, or the adjuster, pneumatic adjuster, manual adjuster has failed, and it can cause catastrophic engine failure or jump the timing on the engine, which will also cause catastrophic failure. Number 5, and quite possibly the most important number on this entire list, is the paperwork. And this is something some people overlook. If you want a legal bike, you have to have legal paperwork. You will need to make sure that it is not a salvage title or a rebuild title if you are not aware of that, meaning that you will not be able to go and ride your bike if it is a salvage title. You will at least need a rebuild title to be able to get it registered in some states. Now, there is some states that do not require you to have a title to the bike. However, being here in Alabama, it is a state where I have to have a title, so every bike I purchase must have some sort of title, whether it be a rebuild or a salvage or a clean title. And if you do get a salvage title bike, you will need to get the parts replaced that made it a salvage title. And the most important thing you will need in the paperwork world is what is known as a bill of sale. And yes, a fully dated, signed by both parties with VIN and addresses bill of sale. If you do not get this and that bike is stolen, they can come after you for having received stolen property. So always make sure that you have a bill of sale. That way they can't come back to you and try to get you if that person you bought the bike from stole it from someone else.
Thanks for watching the entire video, and if you didn't, you're a cheater. But anyways, make sure you comment in the comment section what you would like to see us do in the future, or if there's anything you think I missed. And always make sure you like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on so you can see all my future videos, which we will have a ton of video ideas coming up. So make sure you stay tuned, and more importantly, I appreciate you and thank you for watching.